Welcome to Study Time, a televised home learning program produced by Rwanda Education Board.
Hello students, welcome to TV learning program. My name is Benon. I will be taking Senior 1 students in biology. Dear students, before we start our lesson today, I request you the following. Pay attention and follow all the steps of the lesson. Make sure you have your pen and a book so that by the end of this lesson, you will test your level of understanding. That means it will be easy if you follow all the steps of this lesson. Students, what do you understand when we talk about UNEP? UNEP. What is it? Excellent. It is United Nations Environmental Program. United Nations Environmental Program. This is very important in protecting our environment. Remember, every year we think, design measures and plan ways of protecting our nature. This date is common, 5th June every year. And this year, of course, it was 5th June 2020. Can you tell me what was celebrated that year? Or that date of the year? We celebrated environmental organisms. We had time to think about organisms. And the theme of this year is, it is the time for nature. The theme of this year, it is the time for nature. What does this mean? This means we take time every year and think about environment. Here, we think about plants and animals and design measures of protecting them because they are very important. Remember, here in Rwanda, we have Ministry of Environment, which is responsible for protecting our environment, of course, in collaboration with all Rwandans. That means we think about plants which are in our environment, we think about animals which are in our environment, and discuss ways, design measures of protecting them. Remember, some animals have already disappeared completely, or what we call extinction. The same applies to some plants. And we cannot continue to see organisms extincting or disappearing. That's why United Nations Environmental Program put there a day to celebrate and think about ways of protecting our environment. What does this mean? This means we have to protect organisms on land. We have to protect organisms which are in rivers, lakes. We also have to protect our swamps so that organisms which are there don't extinct. Students, our lesson today will be about external structure and importance of flowering plants. Remember, plants also need to be protected. They are part of environment. We need to protect them because organisms depend on them in different ways. Our lesson today is external organs of the plant. And by the end of this lesson, students, make sure you are able to identify external parts of a flowering plant, describe plant organs, and explain functions of roots, stem, leaves, and flowers in plants. Students, do you know external structures of a flowering plant? When we say a flowering plant, that means it's a vascular plant that produces flowers in order to reproduce. These are plants which produce flowers that can reproduce. The scientific name of flowering plants is what we call angiosperms. Angiosperms are flowering plants. Here we can talk about large group of plants and trees. Those are flowering plants because they produce flowers. They are organisms which are made up of different organs, like stems, leaves, flowers, and roots. Those are organs that make flowering plants. Like you know, in our body we have different organs, like the heart, kidneys, lungs, brain, eyes, and so on. Those are organs in our body. Even plants have organs: roots, stem, leaves, and flowers. Students, this is a plant, of course, which we have to protect. It has different parts. Like you see, it has roots. It has root system. It has shoot system. And shoot system is made up of the stem. This is the stem. It is made up of leaves. It is made up of fruits. And it has flowers. These are the organs of the plant. And when we talk about shoot system, we mean the upper parts of the plant, those which are above the ground. Because remember, roots are in the soil. Then parts which are above the soil are organs which make shoot system. Students, flowering plants are divided into monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous plants. Remember, when we talk about mono, it means one. When we talk about di, it means two. That means a monocotyledonous plant has one cotyledon, and dicotyledonous plant has two cotyledons. And we can even say monocots and dicots. Those are types of flowering plants. When we talk about monocots, we can give examples of rice, wheat, maize, bamboo, palm, banana, ginger, and onion. Those are examples of monocots. And when we talk about dicots, or plants which have two cotyledons, we can think of beans, oats, sunflower, and avocado. Students, do you like eating avocado? Have you ever seen the seed of avocado? That avocado is a dicot because it has two cotyledons. How are they different? Or what are the differences between monocots and dicots? Here we have monocot and here we have dicot. As we said, the seed of a monocot has one cotyledon, while the seed of a dicot has two cotyledons. Let us take an example. When you check the seed of a maize, it is having one cotyledon, while the seed of the beans we normally eat, have two cotyledons. Then when it comes to roots, monocots have fibrous roots, while dicots have tap roots. When we talk about tap root, we mean the roots which penetrate and go deep into the soil, while fibrous roots are roots which are shallow and don't go deep into the soil. Then vascular bundles. Here when we talk about vascular, we mean the vessels within plants. Here we have what we call xylem and phloem vessels. Remember, plants don't have arteries, veins, and capillaries. They have xylem and phloem vessels which transport materials. So when it comes to a monocot plant, as you can see, they are scattered inside there. These you see are scattered. Vascular bundles are scattered, while in dicots, they are ringed. Like you can see, this is like a ring. This is a ring. That means dicots have ringed vascular bundles, while monocots have scattered vascular bundles. When we talk about leaves, leaves of a monocot have parallel veins, while leaves of a dicot have net-like veins. Students, take an example of leaves of a maize or corn. It is like this, and their veins move downwards, like you see, they are parallel. And veins of a dicot, like beans, when you check the leaf of a bean, it has net-like veins. These are the veins. When it comes to their flowers, monocots have flowers which are in multiples of 3. You see, this is 1, 2, 3. Then when it comes to flowers of dicots, they are in multiples of 4 or 5. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means their flowers are different. There we say monocots and dicots are different. They have different characteristics, as we have seen. And all of them are flowering plants. Students, let us talk about the stem. Remember, the stem is part of flowering plant, and it grows above the ground. It has buds and side shoots, and it also have leaves which are attached there. Most stems are green and they contain chlorophyll. That means they can do photosynthesis. Some stems have particular jobs, like some can be modified for asexual reproduction. Students, on the stem, that's where most of the leaves are attached, and even flowers. Are stems important to plants? Yes, they are very important. How are they important? They have the following functions. They transport water and mineral salts from roots to other parts of the plant. Remember, the function of roots is to absorb water and mineral salts from the soil. And then these minerals and water are transported to other parts of the plant by the stem. Then stems transport sugars, food from leaves to all other parts of the plant. They are very important. They transport food to other parts of the plant. They support and hold buds, leaves, so that they can get enough sunlight for photosynthesis. That means leaves are attached on stems and they are held in proper positions for them to do photosynthesis. Then they hold flowers in the best position for pollination. Stems support fruits, seeds in the best position for dispersal. Remember, animals need fruits, and these fruits are the ones which have seeds inside, and those seeds can be grown to produce new plants. They must be put in the best position for animals to see them, for wind to blow them, so that they can be dispersed to different parts, and then they will grow into new plants. That's very nice. Stems make food for the plant through the process of photosynthesis. Because we said some stems are green in color because of having a green pigment called chlorophyll. And that means those stems are able to do photosynthesis, the process where plants make their own food. Students, plants have leaves, and leaves are usually thin, they are wide, flat in shape. And that is very important because it makes them adapted to perform their functions. Here, we can see the diagram of a leaf. Students, this is external parts of the leaf. Like you see this leaf, it has the tip, or what we call the apex. It has the leaf margin. This leaf margin can be toothed, it can be smooth like you see this one, or it can even be lobed because we have different types of leaves. Then it has the petiole. The leaf has petiole for attaching this leaf to the stem of the plant. Then it has leaf lamina. This lamina is very important. Thin, flat, and wide. That means it provides a large surface area for photosynthesis. This lamina has very many plant cells, as we are going to see. Then in the middle, we have midrib. This midrib functions to transport food, mineral salts, and water to these veins. These are the veins, and these veins can distribute water, mineral salts to different cells we find in lamina. Students, every time remember, these are external parts of the leaf. Then we have internal parts. This is inside the leaf. The leaf has what we call stoma or stomata when there are many. Those are tiny holes for gaseous exchange, for transpiration, and so on. Then it has the waxy cuticle. This is the cuticle which is very transparent and thick to protect the internal parts of the leaf. Then we have what we call upper epidermis. This is the epidermis. Upper epidermis protects these cells which are inside the leaf. What we call, they are located in the lamina we have seen. Then we have pale-celled mesophyll cells. As you can see, students, pale-celled mesophyll cells are very green. Can you guess or can you tell the reason why? It's because they have very many chloroplasts. Chloroplasts which have a lot of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, which is a green pigment needed for photosynthesis. That means pale-celled mesophyll cells do a lot of photosynthesis. Then we have spongy mesophyll cells. These are the cells. You can see they are not very green because they have few chloroplasts and they have less chlorophyll compared to pale-celled mesophyll cells. Even when you see their shape, they are irregular, as you can see, and that is important because it provides enough space, as you can see, enough space for gaseous exchange. Then we have veins. These are the vascular bundles we talked about, xylem and phloem. These are responsible for transporting mineral salts, water, and food from one part of the plant to another. We have lower epidermis for protecting these cells. We have also waxy cuticle we talked about. Then these are the stomata, which are protected by guard cells. This is a guard cell. This is another guard cell. They open and close to allow carbon dioxide to go inside and oxygen to go out. Remember, carbon dioxide is needed in the process of photosynthesis. Oxygen is produced by the process of photosynthesis. And this oxygen is given out to the environment so that animals can use it. Then there is air space for gaseous exchange. Mesophyll cells, as we have seen, spongy and pale-celled mesophyll cells are very important. And they are protected by upper and lower epidermis. Students, always remember, these are the internal parts of the leaf. Then the leaf also has flowers. Like you see, this is a very nice flower. And it has different parts. Like you see, this is the ovule we find inside the ovary. It has sepals. It has petals, which are colored. Then it has the carpel, which is the female part of the plant. The carpel or the pistil has stigma, style, and ovary. Then there is also male part of the plant, which is the stamen. It has anther and filament. These are the parts of the flower. And remember, we said flowering plants. That means they have flowers. Then we have root system. Of course, as we have seen at the beginning, plants have roots, which are very important. And the root system of flowering plants develop from the radicle of the embryo in the seed. Most roots are white, cream, or brown in color. That means they don't contain chlorophyll, and so they cannot do photosynthesis. Students, do you think roots are important to plants? Excellent. They are very important. Why? They hold the plant family in the soil. They absorb water and minerals from the soil. They transport water and minerals to the stem. That means without strong roots, plants can fall down. Ever see when there is storm or strong winds, some plants fall down because they don't have firm and strong root system. And there are two main types of roots here. We have what we call fibrous root system, which is made up of shallow branches of roots. Then we also have tap root system, which consists of one single main root. As you can see, these are tap roots. Of course, the tap root is one, big, and it goes deep into the soil. This, we have seen, it is common in dicot or dicotyledonous plants like beans. Then we have fibrous roots, which are very many in numbers. You can see they are shallow and they don't go deep into the soil. These are found in monocots like maize. Students, we have talked about organs of flowering plants. We have seen flowers. We have talked about leaves. We have seen how they are important. We have talked about the stem. Then we have talked about roots, and we have seen the functions of roots. All those are main organs of a flowering plant. Why are flowering plants important? Students, flowering plants are important because they are food source for many organisms. Of course, we have talked about corn or maize. You eat maize, which is very important. We have talked about beans. You eat beans as the good source of proteins, which means flowering plants provide food to organisms. Plants help to maintain balance of gases in the atmosphere. Do you understand this? Remember, plants absorb carbon dioxide from the environment, or they need carbon dioxide produced by other organisms for photosynthesis. And they produce oxygen as a waste product to them, but of course very important to animals, including human. We need oxygen. That's why ever see, when the environment has a lot of plants and animals, we talk about good atmosphere, good nature, good air, because plants provide oxygen to the atmosphere. Then there are important food crops for humans. For example, maize are flowering plants. Wheat, of course, most of you eat bread. You like eating bread, and if you do so, you can't forget the function of wheat. And then sorghum. You like drinking porridge. That means you know how sorghum is very important. Then they provide shelter for many animals like birds and monkeys. When you see plants in our environment, they provide shelter for many birds, for insects, and even when you go to national parks, you can find there different animals like monkeys in trees. Then many trees are a good source of timber. Of course, you sit on chairs, beds, and so on. Those are got from timber from different trees. Some plants can be used to make medicine. Of course, medicine is very important for our life. So some plants can be used as the source of medicine. Example, quinine tree is used for antimalarial medicines. That is a very good example. The plant which provides medicine for malaria. Some plants, such as cotton, can be used for making fabrics. Some of the clothes we put on are made from cotton. That cotton comes from plants. Plants help make our surrounding beautiful. Like those of you who attend weddings, you can't miss seeing flowers there. Even brides have flowers with them because flowers are very good. They make our environment look nice. They make our houses look nice. Even trees, plants make our environment look green. That means flowering plants are very important. Dear students, let us make a quick review or summary of our lesson today. We said that we need to protect our environment. You and I need to protect our environment. And in the environment, we find there are plants and animals. Some of these have disappeared, what we have called extinction, and we cannot allow it to continue because animals are very important, because plants are very important. That's why United Nations Environmental Program put there a date, which is 5th June every year for celebrating environment. That is a way of protecting our environment. We have also seen that in Rwanda, we have Ministry of Environment, which is responsible for protecting our environment. Within the environment, we see mountains, rivers, swamps, lakes, valleys, all which have different plants and animals that must be protected. We have seen that we have what we call flowering plants. Those are plants which have flowers, and they use flowers for reproduction. We have seen main organs of the plant. We have talked about root system. Plants have roots. We have talked about the stem. We have talked about leaves of plants. Then we have talked about flowers. We have seen their functions. Dear students, before we end our lesson today, this is your homework to test your level of understanding. Question number 1. What are the external organs of a flowering plant? Give any 5 examples of monocots commonly found in your village. We have talked about monocots. Give examples which are common in your home village. Question number 3. Give any 5 examples of dicots commonly found in your home village or even at your home. Question number 4. How are the adaptations of leaves to perform their functions? What are the adaptations of leaves to perform their functions? Question number 5. Explain functions of the following organs of the plant: roots, stem, flowers, and leaves. Question number 6. What are functions of flowering plants in our community? Thank you very much for your active participation. Enjoy the rest of the day.